Hey, what is good? What is good? What is good, beautiful people? Of course, you know who I be, the good Dr. Mike TV. Back again, once again, with a real one. This one's too real for me. Um, First time to the video, subscribe, notify, good. Do whatever you need to do. Okay, let's get into this one. I gotta be honest with you guys. First and foremost, I gotta give a big salute to all of my frontliners out there, all of my doctors out there doing their thing, all of my nurses out there doing their thing, all of my people in the food industry that are still serving their community despite everything that's going on in the world today. But there's something I wanted to talk about because recently the Philippines has asked that all inactive nurses volunteer their services to the hospitals and communities, in this current situation. And yes, 100%, I'm all aboard for people who want to volunteer and, put forth their best effort to, rise up during a time of crisis. But there's a lot of things behind the scenes that I think people aren't seeing, which are influencing the reasons why some people are not choosing to volunteer their services. I want you to hear me out because a lot of people will have this notion, well, if they're nurses and they know their job, they need to volunteer, they need to show up in a time of crisis. This is their job, this is what they need to do. But I want you to understand some key facts behind the scenes that you guys are not seeing that are influencing the reasons why some are not choosing to volunteer their services. Okay, here in the Philippines, we live in an interesting time, and we live in an interesting space. And as of recently, what you guys are not seeing is the simple fact that nurses are actually being more mistreated than they are being praised for the work that they're doing. And this is not the entire country, but to be honest with you, let me tell you what's happening. There are landlords that are evicting nurses that are staying in dormitories simply because they're afraid that they're going to bring this back to their home or bring this back to the places in which they are staying. There are incidences that I've heard about, and I believe them to be 100% accurate, where there are nurses that are coming home from their duty or their shift, and people are throwing water on them while they're going home. And I know you guys are like, well, that's dramatic, Mike. That's not true. They're not doing that. But some people are. And in hindsight, I'm just throwing this out there. It's kind of hard to want to volunteer your efforts, your time, and everything when you're dealing with some people who don't seem to be grateful for the actions and the sacrifices that you are willing to make. And this is where that fine line is. This is that line that divides us from those willing to help. And this is in the Philippines. I'm not talking about in the US. This is different. This is just strictly in the Philippines that I can speak on. But there's that fine line between wanting to help and do your part. And then there's that fine line of, well, damn, if I do my part, people are going to try to look at me different and believe and expect that I'm going to be, even though I am at a higher risk of getting it, there are people who are going to basically turn their back on me, not want to fuck with me or hang out with me or do things with me because they believe that because I'm at higher risk of getting it, because I'm helping others, that they don't really want to fuck with me. And that's where this divide lies. And I'm not against anybody who is unwilling to do so. It doesn't mean that they aren't doing their job or they're turning their back on their country or they're turning their back on people. I don't believe that. I believe that their choice not to do that is because of what they've seen and or heard about what's happening to nurses in the country as we speak. Are these isolated incidences? I've heard of this happening on more than one occasion for me to believe that this is just an isolated incident or an isolated situation. Landlords kicking out nurses, can they do that? Who's to say that they cannot? And this is just a real conversation that I'm having with you guys to help people understand why, in some instances, you cannot be mad or bitching about somebody who is not volunteering their services. In the United States, it's completely different. In the United States, I believe that everybody is on board with doing what they need to do. But we're talking about the Philippines, ladies and gentlemen. We're talking about the Philippines. And sometimes some people are just ungrateful. They're happy that you're doing your job, but yet and still they're looking at you wrong because, oh, maybe you got it now. So why would you volunteer your services? This is just me thinking out loud. Why would you want to volunteer your services to people who don't even want to acknowledge that you're doing good things or great things in the moment? Not saying that you should do it to get a pat on the back, but acknowledge the fact that you're doing good things, but yet and still people, not the government, but people in general are going to shit on you or look at you in a negative light because they don't know if you got something or not, because you're putting yourself at risk to help others. So you're putting yourself at risk to help others, and those others aren't really being grateful for what you do because they think you possibly have it, so now they're mistreating you. You see how this shit's starting to fucking come together a little bit? And I just want you guys to feel me on this one. If you don't, completely fine. I don't care. I'm just speaking my truth and speaking my mind. My young lady is a nurse. Y'all know that. I've told everybody from the beginning of time that's what my young lady does. Okay, she's in an industry now where she's been out of practice in the hospital for many, many years. You know, she's in a different type of nursing industry. But if I think about it out loud, I would tell you I'm afraid to put my girlfriend at risk. I'll just be honest. I'm afraid to let her do it. However you slice it, I don't care. That's just the truth. If there's lack of resources and lack of things that will require her to be fully protected during a shift of her doing what she needs to do to protect others, if she's not willing to get the protection, if she's not getting the protection she needs in order to protect others, I'm not sure I'm happy or willing to put her at risk for anybody. And I mean, you gotta feel me where I'm coming from. And I mean, if you don't, I understand it too. But at the end of the day, I'm just sharing with you guys some of the reasons why I believe some people aren't willing to volunteer their services in this moment or in this time of crisis. You can look at them and tell them, oh, you're turning your back on this and you're doing this. But if you don't really see what's going on or you don't really know what's going on behind the scenes, it's kind of difficult for you to be able to say that to somebody. And that's just my rant, ladies and gentlemen. You know what that means. Doc is out. On to the next one, man. Take care.